Alright, so we'll see what this button does and give it a go. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Side Scheme, a podcast about everybody's favorite superhero card game, Marvel Champions. I'm your host, BananaCrapshoot, on a beautiful, rainy Sunday evening for me. And it's a pretty exciting time for Marvel Champions, and here to talk about it with me, as always, is my perfectly balanced co-host, Tommy of Titan. Tommy, how are you?
I'm good. Can we make this quick? Because I have like 6 campaigns going at the same time now, and I got to get back to those.
Yeah, I mean, normally I shoot for like an hour, but when our guest is on, it usually doesn't go that quick. Do you want to introduce our guest?
Yes, we have the never speechless ScottE.
I offend to the implication that I am long-winded. I'm perfectly winded. The best winded.
He can fill the sails, that's for sure.
Yes, I'll take that.
How?
Yeah, all of your campaigns are with me, Tommy, so...
Not all of them. I have one solo
we're
campaign.
both on the time crunch.
And I'm committed to Jack and Brian for a campaign.
When's the last time they played? Have they been playing?
I don't know if they've been. I know Brian hasn't. I don't know if Jack started. He's in the league. Yeah.
Yeah, if Jack's in the league, he's probably at least looked at the cards.
Well, I guess we'll throw out the spoiler warning for everybody. We're gonna dive into the Rise of Red Skull campaign box. We figured enough people had enough time to play through. For those that didn't, spoiler warning now. We're gonna be talking about all the stuff in the Red Skull box. But first off, the Scheme League, the draft league that is Tommy's brainchild for the Side Scheme podcast. We're on season 5 and we're doing a campaign draft. Tommy, you want to give any thoughts or words on that?
Yeah, I think it's moving along nicely. Deadline coming up October 6th. Got to have all of your games finished. And we're definitely going to need a tiebreaker game because I know a few teams are 5-0, which is cool. Me and Scott finished. We're 5-0. I believe you finished. You're 5-0, right, Banana?
Yeah, by the skin of my teeth. That
yep. I
that
one life and one
threat. Yeah,
we cruised to that last scenario.
Yeah, we did. We murdered the skull. Yeah, there's a lot of 5-0 teams. It looks like Lando Cal's 5-0, Jovi and Mr. Ben 5-0. That's just the Titan division. Let me see what we got in, and a couple other potential 5-0s in that division still when they get to their games. Let's see. Titan division. We got Banana is 5-0. Nathan with a 5-1. Poem and McBobber from Late Night Gaming are 5-0. So we're looking at least 5 teams in a playoff. So that'll be fun. We'll have to talk about... we might have to get a neutral party, someone that doesn't make the 5-0, come up with the encounter, since both of us are going to be represented in there, Banana, as commissioners.
And you would normally ask me for my opinion.
Yeah, and you're in there too.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I have a guy. I know a guy. Maybe we'll tie down Vardane. We'll see if he'll help us out.
So does that mean that the campaign is just a little on the easy side?
Maybe. I don't. I think some of it depends on. I don't know. Like, it might be easy. I don't know. I don't think it's easy, but I don't think it's the hardest thing.
It is a draft league, so it's not like everybody's getting to go in there with their pick of the litter. Like, they're, so you set it up so that you would get one of Hawkeye or Spider-Woman, but then you did have to draft another hero and you draft your aspects. So it's not like everybody's going in there with, like, tailor-made what they would love to, if you said, I'm going to give you $1 million to beat the campaign all through. So there's some, like, more moderate teams going in, but we are seeing a lot of straight wins through.
So I think it is a little easy in campaign mode, but I think a lot of that has to do, and again, we're going into spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, fast forward for 1 hour and 36 minutes, and then you can catch us answer a question at the end of the podcast. So I think that in the campaign, it's too easy because of the upgrades you earn. So you get the tech upgrade, which is the one-off upgrade that you'll get after beating Crossbones, I believe. And then shortly after that, you'll get the upgrade of, I don't know, the stat upgrade. It boosts one of your 4 primary stats. And then eventually that'll be upgraded and give you another reaction. And then you get the zero-cost allies and the Taskmaster encounter. So, and if you have a decent amount of heal, it's pretty easy to make sure you get all of the allies from the Taskmaster encounter. So
yeah, once you get past a certain point with him, you can stall him out a little bit.
Yeah, there is definitely a point of stabilization where you can just continuously milk it until you get those allies. I mean, at some point, I'm sure with the acceleration tokens and everything, you'll run out of time. But
we only got 2 of the allies, so it's not like you even need to do that.
You definitely don't need it, but they're definitely really good. I mean, anything that's zero cost that can block attacks and do other things is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, can confirm.
So I think if you combined all those factors and then you get into the last 2/5 of the box, which are 2 encounters that I personally think are really, really strong, well-designed encounters that really just aren't getting enough credit right now because of, I mean, you just have too many tools at that point.
Being played in what would be the easiest mode of whatever mode you're playing on, whether you're playing standard, expert, or heroic. That's the easiest version of that scenario because you're going to have upgrades that you normally wouldn't.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about the modular sets. We're just strictly talking about these upgrades. I think if you played just Zola or Red Skull with the recommended modular sets and just didn't get any of the campaign benefits, I think they would feel really good. The one thing that I'm not accounting for that kind of balances it is the persistent health in expert mode campaign.
Yeah.
So that can hurt you, but again, like if you're in a situation with the Taskmaster game where you're making sure you get all the allies, you're probably making sure that before you finish a villain, you're healing as much as you can, so you go into the next game with as little damage as possible. And the fact that a lot of upgrades in the game and even some that you can get in the campaign will bolster your hit points makes it a lot easier to get back to that threshold.
Yeah, because you could even go into the next game with some damage on you if you're running upgrades that give you more health, because you're at that point, even if you are starting with damage, you're just as far away from dying as you normally would be.
Yep. It's like double dipping on that bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point if you're using the tech upgrades. Like I used my tech upgrade, both of them that I had, the laser cannon and the tactical scanner, against Zola. I think if I would have saved them for Red Skull, then he probably would have been easier to deal with.
We never even used the laser cannon.
Yeah, Scott discarded it to a caught off guard in the Red Skull game, and he never saw it again.
Turn, but I just had enough native damage to do it.
Yeah, and we wound up killing him. But I used Tactical Scanner as a Doctor Strange player on round 1. We looked at each other, and we talked about it for 30 seconds. We were like, it's worth it to just use this to set up, right? And he's like, yeah, let's get the cloak, let's get the Eye of Agamotto, let's get all your tools, Sorcerer Supreme. So we did that, and I think I set up all 3 of those, right, Scott? Round 1.
Yeah, because I think you also were able to hit Winds of Tomb. I don't think you played it multiple times, but you were able to get to it at the top.
Yeah, so I dug pretty deep, and
I think you drew 8 cards first turn, and then 2 rounds later, drew 9. There was one turn where you drew 18.
Yep.
Nice.
It was a little nut. I had to carry his belt one game, first game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled in Crossbones. So why don't you want to talk about each encounter instead of jumping around like this, Banana?
Yeah, I was gonna try to right the ship here, we'll start it off with Crossbones. He's pretty cool. He's only got 2 schemes, right? They're both pretty low thwart thresholds.
He's got 3, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he does have 3. Yeah, I was thinking 2 for some reason. He's got 3, but they're all pretty low threat thresholds, so it kind of sneaks up on you. But I thought it was a pretty fun encounter. You guys have anything you wanna? What did you guys like about Crossbones?
He feels the toughest in the campaign box to me. I thought he felt like the whole game feels like a struggle against Crossbones. He's constantly getting upgrades, weapons. His stat line is always amazing. I feel like and that's strictly within the campaign, because remember, you don't have anything when you face Crossbones. You start full health, but you don't have any like starting upgrades or stat buffs or anything like that. So, and he starts with a weapon, an experimental weapon, which is pretty cool. The way those work into each of the villain decks, you can make an argument that that's even a way to bolster the villains. But I mean, they're not starting with that kind of stuff every game. So, but Crossbones is, and his machine gun. So right away, Crossbones is coming at you hot and heavy, and it's tough. He puts a lot of pressure on the heroes early. Mm-hmm. And we found that taking a turn in alter ego when the machine gun's out really ends up punishing one of the players. Not you, not whoever takes the alter ego. Like, for instance, we played a 3-player game the other night, and I took a turn in alter ego really just to I was playing T'Challa really so I could just capitalize on Golden City, and it wound up really putting Scott in a tough spot where he had to eat 3 of the machine gun rounds as opposed to just everybody taking 2.
Yeah, but then I also just ate a full auto to the face with Luke Cage.
Yeah, which is nice. It dealt 5, and he was at full health, so you get to assign all 5 to that tough.
So I think Crossbones, looking at all of his cards, like I think Banana, you're completely right, because he does have 3 stages to his scheme, but they have relatively low threat on the first 2, so like it can sneak up on you there. And looking at his treacheries and everything, with the exception of Hard as Nails, like they're all pretty, full auto is really dangerous. Hydra bombers can be pretty dangerous because not only are they a minion, but they also have an ability when they come into play. So you can't just sometimes a minion comes into play and you're like, all right, we don't care, we'll just kill it next turn. They make you care a little bit. And then Raid the Armory can get a little nutty when all the weapons are on the table and you end up just basically taking an acceleration token to it.
Right, and then his side scheme, Crossbones Assault, has acceleration icons on it, and then it has the when defeated effect that he activates against you if you defeat it. So it's like you want to deal with it, but you don't.
It's definitely like it can't just be ignored. There's not a lot in his set that can just really be ignored, and I think unlike the other heroes, since he does force weapons out of the experimental weapon stack onto himself, I found actually having the experimental weapons in the villain deck made the subsequent encounters a little easier because you're kind of diluting the deck.
Yeah, I think it feels kind of nice when you're like, oh, what's this treachery card going to be? And then it's an experimental weapon. You're like, okay, we'll just deal with that next turn. Like, you've got a restocked hand. You can eliminate that card coming up. It doesn't do anything pressing in that moment. And those are the cards that feel the worst. So, and I mean, there needs to be a balance. You can't just have everything punch you in the face.
Yeah.
But
like Crossbones machine gun, since you can't get rid of it, that one, even though it doesn't do anything right that second, is scary if it comes back out of the deck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just brutal and expert that he starts with that thing. Like I said on the Discord, I played against him in a 2-player game, and he did a lot of damage. I forget how much it was, but
I don't think we've lost to him yet, have we, Tommy?
No, but we've had some close calls. We've had some I think the game we played with Hawkeye and Spider-Woman was real close, wasn't it?
Because he has piercing, so we had to play like a weird game of like tough would be used against...
Oh no, that was the Strange and Spider-Woman game. That one was real tight too.
I don't think the Spider-Woman Hawkeye one was. I think we actually came out of the gate like crazy hot.
Oh, okay.
I think I found my quiver on the first turn. But I think the strange Spider-Woman game that we played, like, because we had to manage, we couldn't just use the tough that we could both get.
The tough was eating ally attacks or minion attacks.
Yeah, so we were having to just like, all right, well, the minion will bounce the tough, and we'll have to use allies for his attacks. So luckily, it doesn't have any over.
Yeah, if he had overkill, that would be a little over the top, I think.
Yeah, I think there comes a point where it's like, all right, well, if he's got piercing and overkill, the only way I can block it is if I eat it to the face.
And I mean, the mods he comes with too. We covered a lot of the cards in his set itself, but the modular sets of Weapon Master and Hydra Patrol are nothing to scoff at either. I mean, Weapon Master comes with 2 attachments that are going to add 1 attack, among other effects, and then the card Weapon Master itself. There's 2 copies of that in that modular.
You forgot the craziest one
in Weapon Master.
No, in the sets that you have to play with them. Legion of Hydra.
Oh, Legions of Hydra. I'll get there. Don't worry about that.
Sure.
But Weapon Master is a brutal card because if you're alter ego and he has a weapon, he schemes and surges. If you're hero mode, he attacks you and surges if he has a weapon. So it's a pretty retro card.
I canceled. That was the one that I was like, this isn't happening. We were playing with Widow.
Yeah, and then, like Scott said, between Legions of Hydra and Hydra Patrol, there's enough Hydra soldiers in the deck that, I mean, that's a minion that you're never happy to see because of the guard, the 2 attack, the fact that when it dies you get an encounter card. They're a pain. They're definitely a pain in the rear.
Well, you're it's supposed to be Hydra Assault, not Hydra Patrol.
Yeah, he just keeps calling it the wrong thing.
Okay.
It's the one with the flame soldiers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's written Hydra Assault in the campaign log, but it's written Hydra Patrol on his scheme setup. But Caleb Grace has clarified a couple times that it's Hydra Assault.
I thought he clarified it was Hydra Patrol. The scheme was correct, right?
No, he said the campaign log was correct.
Oh, okay.
It's Hydra Assault, yeah. And that's what the Hydra Assault is what really screwed me over the other night when I played that 2-player game.
The quick jet troopers, they're bonkers.
Yeah, and I got them as boost cards. So
that's a problem.
Yeah, so like so Crossbones activated against me. Pulled the jet trooper as a boost. So I got the machine gun for the first attack, and then the second attack is still an attack, so the machine gun fires off the boost attack. And then my encounter card was an assault, and so I got a machine gun attack, and then the other jet trooper was the next boost. So then I got another. So I got all 4. Like I got attacked by all the machine guns.
That's brutal.
Yeah, I was like, all right, good game, good job, Crossbones.
That's when you're like, why aren't I running that target acquired preparation? Cancel boost effects, which is usually not terrible. I mean, usually it's terrible.
It also had to be like one of the first 10 cards I saw. So
yep, yeah. There's sometimes there are some like a current that because he starts with the machine gun and a respectable attack stat that he can kill you. He can like Rhino you in the first turn, but probably easier than Rhino.
Yeah, I think the experimental weapon he pulled was the was it it was the +1/+1. It was the exosuit.
Exosuit. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's tough because it's so hard to get rid of because it costs you 3 resources.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's really well designed. He's probably my second favorite encounter to play out of the box, I'd say. Just his whole setup is good.
Mm-hmm.
So what's some good counters to Crossbones that you guys have?
Allies. I think allies are imperative.
So the cards that are good are still good, even against Crossbones.
Well, not entirely, because like we said, Strange definitely has some flaws playing into him. A lot of his tricks don't work the same. So
stunning him still works pretty well.
Stunning is fine, but stunning gets a lot worse the higher number of players you have.
Yeah. I mean, so we played it on Friday. I'm literally playing Black Widow Protection, and I'm just trying to gear myself up so much that I can just take all of the attacks that get thrown out of the encounter deck. That actually was kind of like, it worked well in that game. I literally was defending most of the attacks toward the end. But yeah, he just does a lot of damage. So even though I was like not taking any damage from his attacks most of the time, I was taking too much damage from that stupid machine gun.
Yeah. That machine gun is brutal that he starts with.
Yeah, we're playing the combination of decks we're playing is a little on the slower side, so he got to go through his deck. And then again, because we hit a weapon search with no weapons left in the deck.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Does he have the same amount of health as Rhino?
I don't know. Health Rhino.
14, 16?
Yes. But Rhino, I think Rhino has more things that like make him harder to kill. He only Crossbones only has his armor and then the 2 hardest nails. Although I guess the hardest nails, since it does have like the same boost effect as its treachery effect, you're going to see it most of the time.
Yeah,
like all of the time. But tough's kind of easy to deal with.
Yeah. You guys got anything else on Crossbones, or we're going to move on to Scenario 2?
I'm good with moving on.
Seems.
Scenario 2 is Absorbing Man. This dude stole Thunderball's ball and chain, and he loves whipping it around. He's only got one scheme. This was probably my easiest game of the campaign draft we did. I think he's like well designed and like the interactions are cool, but it just I feel like you need like with Crossbones, like there's always that tension's there throughout the whole game for the most part. Mm-hmm. And with like Absorbing, I never felt that tension, if you get what I'm saying.
I get exactly what you're saying.
It just doesn't do anything to threaten you for most of the time, and like there's too much. Like 12 threat a player is a ton. Like it is so much.
Yeah,
definitely a lot.
I get what he's supposed to. I get what he's supposed to do, but I actually don't think he's that effective at doing it because he just doesn't have he doesn't threaten you that much, thus forcing you to expend resources not hitting him. He can't really threaten you with scheming out, so again, you can just put more resources into hitting him. And then he's not particularly, hard to kill.
Yeah, he's got, the same amount of health as Crossbones and Rhino, for the most part. Yeah. I think if maybe the locations, the environments, I think maybe if they did it in discard, and if, they stayed in play, then he, slowly gained all the traits, it would make him harder. But, I mean, other than Omnimorph, was it the card, the Super Absorbing Power?
Omnimorph Duplication.
Yeah, if that card combined with the Super Absorbing Power is, brutal to deal with.
We had one of those go off first round, because in a 3-player game, it's a little hard to get rid of the Super Absorbing Power scheme first turn, because 9 threat is a little difficult to reach sometimes. And I did get hit by one of those. It was not fun.
Right, and
most of the time it doesn't do that much.
Right, most of the time it doesn't do much. That's why I think if either the environments did in discard, or if there was another copy of Super Absorbing Power, maybe that it was a higher likely chance that you would get hit with more than one effect at a time.
Yeah, I think because he starts off with Super Absorbing Power and Expert, it actually makes him easy because it's already on the field. And, you don't have anything to do your first turn except throw your basic attacks or into. So the fact that there's a scheme out on the first turn that you definitely want to go away, it's pretty easy to remove, especially in a 2-player game.
Yeah.
It really only takes one card and both players using their activation, and it's gone.
And I mean, and I played against Absorbing Man on the late night gaming stream, and I don't remember anything memorable that Absorbing Man did the whole game.
he doesn't do anything memorable.
Yeah.
It's just like he doesn't do too much, and then constantly you're getting the treacheries that have like the kicker effect if it's a certain terrain and it's not that terrain.
Right, exactly. Which is why I think
every time you get something, it's never that terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a way for more than one to stay out, I think.
Yeah, maybe like if he every time an environment card entered play, he gained that trait, and then it didn't matter if it went away and the environment changed. He still had that trait.
It was like a static, like a constant thing at that point.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. It's missing something. It's kind of like the villain version of She-Hulk. Just something's missing.
Yeah, he's a snooze fest. Maybe that's his purpose. He's trying to like lull you to sleep so you can't finish the campaign. Because
Do you think it was the fact that we were playing slower decks, or the fact that we were just playing more players that made him more difficult for us the other night, Scott?
Slower decks.
We weren't playing any aggression, which is rare for our group.
Both you and I like started off like goofy.
Yeah.
Like we didn't like John carried us pretty hard.
Yeah, he did.
Do you guys have anything else on Absorbing Man, or you want to just leave it where it is?
I would like to skip Absorbing Man. Like I would like to skip the campaign.
I mean, his coolest thing about him, it doesn't even pay off for him in a standalone.
Yeah.
Like
standalone, he would be the. I mean, he's down there in the
risky business
thing, right? It's like I wouldn't want to bother.
Because I mean, like he has the delay counters on his main scheme, and that has like a little bit of payoff, maybe, if it goes that long.
It's like 7, and it didn't matter during him.
Right, but the biggest payoff for that happens in the Red Skull encounter. So like if you play him standalone, like you don't even get a payoff really for that delay counter.
I mean, we're gonna see if like us playing slower decks into him is gonna really hurt us when it comes to the Red Skull, but I don't know.
I mean, how many delay counters did you have at the end?
7.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna make a difference in Red Skull.
It's gonna make Red Skull a little harder. When we played it through with Strange and Spider Woman, we only had 3. Like we ripped through him real quick.
Yeah, so like that.
That didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
It was like inconsequential.
All right, so I guess we'll move on to scenario number 3, which is I want it to be my favorite, but it isn't. It's a Taskmaster. One of you guys want to take the lead on this one?
I thought he was thematically really, really strong. I thought that this was kind of like the high point of the story too. Like I thought this was like kind of like the big twist for what is happening. I'll leave that spoiler free for a thematic standpoint, but it does feel like there's some pressure early where he's dealing you the damage. I think he flips the top card of the deck, and then your hero has to take damage, or your identity takes damage equal to the number. I guess it's your hero at that point.
You change it.
Whenever you flip the hero form. So I like that pressure that he puts on you. I like the way that kind of feels like he's hunting down the heroes is what he's trying to do. And I like the allies. I think the allies make it a little easy if you're able to get some of them. And I also feel like there's just... I don't have it broken down exactly why, but there's definitely that, like we said, that point where you're just like, oh, now I'm in control. And you just get to that point, and then you have control over that game. So it's... I'm not sure what it is. It's that threshold seems
12.
A little high. The 12 per player is just a little too high, I think. He's got a great stat line. I really like that he deals encounter cards to start the game because it does make you feel like you're at a disadvantage. Maybe it's because you just got your stat boost after beating the second game.
Yeah, that helps, and then it's probably the captured by Hydra side schemes. Like that is normally you don't get that. You normally don't get rewarded by beating a side scheme all that much, but to be getting a zero cost hero, a zero cost ally, is a pretty hefty reward. And since it's only at 5 total threat, as you play with more players, it's easier to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it was like a static 5 and then, like add an additional per player, like. But also, like, his main scheme is a little more threatening even than Absorbing Man's, even though they're the same because of the force response.
It does something, yeah.
Yeah, where you have that choice. But I mean, you just take the damage, right? So
you can just chill out and alter ego.
Yeah.
I mean, in our slow 3-player game, all of us are planning on spending the first round in alter ego, I think.
That's our plan.
Just to do it, because we need to recover a little health.
And to help us set up a little bit.
But like, all right, so he's going to get to scheme 3 times. Meh.
Like, yeah, I doubt he's putting 36 on.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Definitely not.
He's going to put like 18, but then it's just like, all right, blitz it down real hard, especially if you start drawing, especially if you like rescue White Tiger, then it's like, all right, great, threat's solved.
Yeah.
His photogenic reflexes can be kind of interesting now.
It does complicate like sequencing, especially in higher player counts, just because like whoever has the ability to remove that card the best isn't always up, and that's a card that basically deals damage to you. Yep. It reads, force interrupt when a player attacks Taskmaster, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Taskmaster, and deal an equal amount of damage to that player's identity instead. Then discard photographic reflexes, max 1 per attack. So it definitely can complicate things where like you might have an ally or something, because it references player as opposed to you. My assumption is that it references anything that we do in the game, not just your identity or your hero. So it doesn't have to be like an attack event or an exhausted attack. I would imagine an ally would trigger it just the same. But I don't know. Who knows?
You. Who knows?
Yeah, you.
either way you look at it, whether it's like triggering off anything on your side that does it, or just either your basic attack or any like events you play or anything like that, it still can be hard to play around because sometimes you don't have a throwaway attack that's not going to deal a lot of damage. Like, how would you ever build a deck where you're like, yeah, unless you're Iron Man, where I got a bunch of extra attacks that don't hit that hard. You'd always want like attacks that hit hardest, except for this.
Yeah.
Hulk doesn't like him. Hulk doesn't do anything softly and doesn't get to do that many things. So both eating one of your few things that you get to do in a turn and putting it back on you is bad.
The only time you want to exhaust to attack with Miss Marvel.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that I wish his personal weapons were more than 2 resources to discard, his shield and his sword.
Yeah, I feel like there's a ton of weapons.
I kind of wish that they weren't discardable. I don't like that. I mean, like, I like that Crossbone's machine gun is only going to go away after he's out of ammo. And I kind of wish more of the villain attachments were permanent.
I mean, if you just take that up to 3 resources, I mean, it's pretty...
Yeah, then it's kind of almost...
Yeah, and both the sword and the shield have 3 boost icons, so them being in the deck is still going to make you pay at some level.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, it doesn't do anything in that moment, usually unless it's followed up by like an attack, true. And 2 resources, even if it's like 2 specific types of resources, can be a little bit easier to come by.
Yeah.
You're right. 3 makes it much harder to discard, and then a much bigger hit if you do discard it.
And he also is suggested to come with Weapon Master, so there's, another weapon or 2.
Yep. But he doesn't start with any weapons, so you can kind of
Yeah.
It whiff on some of the Weapon Master cards sometimes. Like, not Weapon Master or Treachery, like him attacking you or scheming against you is always bad, but doing that and gaining Surge is when it gets really problematic.
Right. The reason I want him to be my favorite is because of Moon Knight. But
we know that was implicit, implied. You know what? I'm going to say it. Moon Knight is the worst out of the captured heroes.
Oh,
because he requires a wild resource.
Well, I mean, if you use your, if you have the power of, you have signature allies,
and that gets cut.
Yeah,
we don't play the power of,
and the whatever that upgrade you get, like the tech upgrade, that becomes a wild resource.
Resourceful can be a wild resource. Quinjet can be a wild resource. But I'm just saying, it's the hardest kicker to apply.
Yeah, but draw 2 cards is pretty damn good effect.
Yeah, but really it's only netting you 1 card most of the time.
I mean, it's a net 1 card, but if you're using something on the table,
I'm going to count a 0-cost ally as like kind of paying for himself.
Splitting hairs.
Yeah. I don't know. That White Tiger, like, oh, I drop her on the table and she takes away 3 threat and then she thwarts for 3. It's 6 threat gone.
Yeah,
pretty
that
good.
White Tiger I think is the best just because like that ability.
I mean, if you're playing a Justice deck though,
then you want
like
to
at some point, like the thing with threat removal in the game in general is like there comes turns where threat removal doesn't do anything for you. Like damage is always damage, which is why it's like, you know, the 1-to-2 ratio. Like you want to spend, you know, 1 resource for 2 damage or 1 resource for 1.5 threat. Like that value holds up, but there winds up being enough situations where damage and threat are really kind of equal in all respects because
you don't have any need for the threat.
There's no threat. Like round 1 of the game, you can only thwart so much.
Well, in some of these scenarios, we're getting more things that start with side schemes in play, or start with some threat on them.
But I think you can run out of things to thwart.
Yeah, I think she's very valuable in the campaign, mostly because you're going to need additional thwart against Red Skull.
That is fair.
Because we're going to discuss why in a little bit.
Even Zola.
If
we want to roll right in.
Yep.
Go for it.
Let's go.
Zola's interesting for multiple reasons. Zola is the minion, like the hoarding minion encounter here. He also has Retaliate 1, which is awesome because it kind of gives the middle finger to your attacking allies. Yep. But the reason you're going to need a little extra thwart against Zola is because he gets to start. Where is that side scheme?
The island of Dr. Zola.
Is that war?
No, that's the main scheme. What is it?
Yeah.
Hydra Prison.
Hydra Prison. There it is. So Hydra Prison. I can't even read. Where is it? I don't see it on mine.
I got it.
God, read it.
Each player searches their deck, discard pile, and hand for their hero-specific ally and places it face down beneath this scheme. Place X threat on this scheme, where X is the total cost of all allies beneath it. Each player shuffles their deck. When defeated, remove this scheme from the game and return each ally beneath it to its owner's hand. And it starts with 1 threat, so it's 1 plus X. In our case, it was 7. Plus 1, 8. Took our Wong and our Captain Marvel.
Hate it when I lose my Wong.
Hate it when it wasn't so bad because we could get them back on demand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't think it was cool. It's a cool feature to have because it fits in with the theme of him, you know, receiving these captured heroes from Taskmaster, and then he's like, you know, experimenting on them and turning them into these terrible mutates.
And if you do not thwart well, you might be in a little bit of 8 is a little hard sell if he starts getting away with any on his main scheme, because his main schemes are 6 and 8. I think if it was like maybe 5 and 7, it would present a much more like, oh, we might not be rescuing our buddies type of scenario.
It'd be brutal. That would be a backbreaking difference.
Yeah, just that little bit.
Yeah,
Well, not only like the main scheme, like you said, it's 6 and 8, right? So it's 14 when you have like Taskmaster and Absorber Man at 12.
Yeah.
But then the force responses on the schemes like cycles his deck.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal in that sense. Like there's a lot of things like he's going to get some acceleration tokens. What is it? Does his first scheme start with anything on it?
No.
No, the second scheme starts
one
with
does. One per player.
So like when I say drop it down from like 8 to 7, that would be a big up in difficulty just because it's like getting a little hairy at that point, especially with what may be on the board when you actually get to the second scheme.
Yeah, there's just going to be so many acceleration counters too, because it's not only like when it's cycling for these allies after it gets the 3 tokens on it, but in addition to that, like every time you get one of these minions, you have to deal with them, and he makes it very difficult to deal with them. Some of them have tough, some of them are very beefy, some of them have quick strike, and there's a ton of attachments in here that all add 2 to their hit points, among other effects. I mean, these minions are a pain.
So much.
We knew going in when we played our league game, like we were very concerned about this because, I mean, Spider-Woman and Doctor Strange aren't exactly like, experts at handling minions.
There's no AoE effects.
Yeah, so we teched pretty hard. Like we were running, relentless assaults because we felt like 5 was a good thing, and toe-to-toes and things like that.
Haymaker?
No Haymaker. Nope.
I
couldn't justify Haymaker when you could run just 3 relentless assaults.
I can't run Haymaker because it screws with my numbers.
Yeah.
We were very like cognizant of how we were dealing with minions. We threw probably more than 1 rings of Systenock into minions.
Yeah. Crimson Bands of Sidorak.
Yeah, I said rings. I had them both. Yeah,
he's not allowed to play Doctor Strange. That's my.
I never play Doctor Strange because Tommy claims it.
Next thing will be images of Ragador and
it's
images of Ragador.
Wait, what scenario was it where we got the first turn shadows?
It was ScottE.
It was ScottE. Okay, we'll go over that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. That was an epic display.
It's amusing. This scenario, like, I think it's one of the most interesting ones. I think if you play it outside of the campaign, it's going to be really hard. And then I also think if you were to add either MODOK might be like a little masochistic.
MODOK looks real fun in this.
I don't even know if it looks fun. It looks hard as hell, but like fun is.
I like hard.
I like hard too, but that one might just be like punching yourself in the genital.
Or Ronin, man. I think the Ronin
one.
True
fanatic.
Bananas.
Ronin would be funner, more fun, just because it's like literally he's going to come out and it's like he is more dangerous than the boss. You're like, go away, Zola. This is the new boss. Because if you don't kill him in short order, all of a sudden he's going to be like a 5/5 with retaliate and 12 hit and 37 hit points.
This is what you do. You throw in MODOK and Kree Fanatic in here, so you get the biomechanical upgrades on Ronin 2.
That one, yeah, I would. That would be. I don't know if you'd be able to win that.
So one other thing that happened in our game that we kind of identified as something to be aware of, at least, is the card Mind Ray is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
for the villain. Treachery. Yeah. Mind Ray. When revealed alter ego Zola schemes, you are confused. When revealed hero Zola attacks, you are stunned. And there's 3 of them in the deck. How many of those did we cancel that game, Scott?
We got hit by 1, and then we were like not happening again.
Yeah, that's a tough card, which actually made me think of another modular set that could be fun with him, and that would be Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone.
Tombstone, because he's just a big beefy ally that could get these attachments, and then oh my goodness, if you hit the double when revealed effects
media
coverage, yep.
Yeah.
If you hit that followed by a Mind Ray, I mean,
I think we have our tiebreaker.
More cards to scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't get confused twice, but oh man, it just That could be good.
The mind ray, especially like when you get hit, like obviously getting hit by an attack, it's not like Zola hits all that hard. It's fine. He actually really hits kind of weakly, especially because he has so many. Like he doesn't have any boost icons in his set. He's got like 3 boost icons total. He's got a ton of cards that have a boost effect but no icon. But most of them give him like +1 attack or something like that. But he doesn't hit too hard. It's just the stun makes it so then you can't deal with the minions effect.
Yeah, the mind ray is the biggest boost icons with 2.
Yeah. And it's hilarious because you're like, oh yeah, that's a boost card. Thank you. You just don't get actual treachery. Yeah, it's a really fun encounter. I would love to see that there's neurological implants on Ronan because
oh my God.
I don't like what do you are literally blocking him purposefully every turn because you can't stun him, you can't do anything. You're just.
I mean, I had Ronan come out turn 1 against Rhino and kill a full health Hulk in 1 villain phase. So, giving him the implants, that
it's a little. Well, yeah, it's a little mean.
I can't imagine what that Ronan would do. That Ronan, oh my gosh, we need to do that, Scott.
I know. We would literally. It's like I said. He is the boss now. It's like you've seen that, like from that Captain Phillips movie with the guy being like, look at me, I'm the captain now. That's what he's saying to Zola. He's like, thanks for the neurological implants. Now shut up and watch me work.
I mean that Ronan set, that Kree Fanatic set, I think is still my favorite thing in the game to this point. So the fact that we're still talking about it.
We've definitely we've killed him. We've pretty much.
I mean, She-Hulk killed him. The She-Hulk ally just murdered him.
It was
but she's insane.
I also think this encounter would be really good with the Masters of Evil.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, because they're all annoying. They're all like, that's a good.
And they're all just their health is like they're kind of like you can kill them, but then if they get any plus health on them, then it's like crap. I have to deal 7 or 8 or whatever to kill these stupid things.
I like that.
And they're annoying to deal with. So like
and they come out, and then if
retaliate.
If you don't deal with them, then you get that card that says they all attack you. And then
Oof. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I think some of these Zola minions would be very, very, very scary if you left them on the table because you were dealing with other minions.
And then you get like gang up or something.
Yeah, and you just get something stupid.
Or
good.
Hydra.
Yeah, treachery cancels are good.
Yeah. They're probably the best cards in the game, right? Treachery cancels. I mean,
yeah, that's why they haven't printed. That's why they didn't do the Lord of the Rings thing. Because in Lord of the Rings, if you're playing blue, which is I forget Spirit, is that Spirit, right, Tommy?
Yes.
You're taking like immediately you play that color to get access to the treachery cancel. So, like, I'm glad that they haven't really weaved in a very, like, easy event treachery cancel into any of the aspects. Because it just becomes too ubiquitous.
Yeah, I mean, Get Behind Me is the closest thing we have, and the villain attacking you is quite often not as bad as a lot of the...
As some of these treacheries, but it's still...
They're trending in the right direction, though. I think a lot of these treacheries in this box are tough. Mind Ray is tough, and the Weapon Master, that's tough. Like, there's some really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, full auto is like an amazing treachery.
Not have Luke Cage with toughness. Just assign 5 to it.
It's a very niche situation, but yes.
Very fortuitous. So, in case anyone's wondering how the rules work on that, he was at full health with toughness. He has 5 health, so you can assign 5 indirect damage to him. You can't assign any more, even though he isn't going to take any damage because of the tough. You can only assign up to his hit points. But 5 is a lot, so... It's like I took 1 on the hero and 5 on him. And, tough. Worked out nicely.
You want to move on the skull, Banana? Want to lead us?
To the red skull. All right, so after this scenario is when you get your upgraded version of your upgrade effect, and then you're just like, you start off as you feel like invincible.
Yeah, because if it's the improved version like does a thing if you do a thing, right? So like if you have the attack
Kill a
one and
minion.
you defeat a minion, you draw a card, or if you defend an attack, you have the defense one, you draw a card. So
very powerful effect on top of a stat boost.
Because drawing cards is always good. Newsflash.
Is it?
Especially for things that you already were going to do.
Yep.
Because if you're taking the defense one, you're planning on defending some things. If you're taking the attack one, well, you're going to kill minions anyway. And if you took the thwart one, you're going to want to get rid of sides. You're going to want to get rid of side schemes, and well, there's going to be side schemes to get rid of.
I mean, I was drop kicking minions so that I could draw 2 cards afterwards.
See, that's like all of a sudden the Hulk's playing with like a 7-card hand.
Well, that was Captain America, and I had no cards out of hand because of martial prowess and 2 super soldier serums. So
sounds about right.
Yep. So the Red Skull is the penultimate or the ultimate. I'm not sure the phrasing there. Big bad in the box. It all leads up to this. Everything you've done for one night a week the last 5 weeks has led to this. It is the Red Skull, right? So he's taken over. He's got the reality gem. Newsflash, we said spoiler alert. And this guy was pretty tough for me. I had a hard time, but I used my tech upgrade, both my tech upgrades against Zola, before I went into Red Skull. But him having that 3 scheme like from the start is like you don't ever want to flip to alter ego.
Yeah, he's a little ball buster with that. So we mentioned the delay counters earlier from the boring one, the absorbing one, and what they do in this scenario is you start with threat on the main scheme equal to the number of delay counters, and if you're playing on expert campaign like we were, it's that much threat per player. So that can be a bit of a problem since his first scheme has 8 per player, and in our 3-player game we're going to start with 21 threat on it. Yeah, suck.
Yeah, I had 5 delay counters, so I started with 10 on there. So it didn't flip it right away, but it didn't take very long.
Because as we've mentioned a few times, there's going to be side schemes with the Red Skull because he puts a side scheme into play every phase, automatic, from a side scheme deck.
Yep. So in setup, you put the red house into play, which is a side scheme, and then you take all the other side schemes in the deck and you shuffle them, and you make. They're not in the main deck; they're their own deck.
Which is great because it dilutes it anti-dilutes the villain deck, so you're getting more things that are like actively pressing you as opposed to side schemes, which are more passive in most cases.
Right, and then the red house is a pain because the Red Skull can't take damage when it's in play.
Yeah.
So,
but you can use your attack stat instead of your thwart stat when you're thwarting it.
Right.
The only side conversation for that is that if you don't have a thwart stat, so if you're like
Hulk
ally, he can't thwart at all. Like he's not allowed to even initiate the thwart to get to the interrupt that says he could use his attack. Yeah. But it did work nicely when I'm playing like Spider-Woman with a +1 attack upgrade setup, and then I drop combat training for +1 attack, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'll thwart 5.
Yeah. Tommy, you got any thoughts?
I mean, on Red Skull in general, I think it's a great scenario. I like that it's like you said with the side schemes, Scott. They dilute the deck in a good way for the villain, at least, so that you're getting more pressing active threats. Because the side scheme is kind of in the same vein as like an attachment, where okay, I don't have to deal with that right this second, so whatever. But I like it also because it's like you're getting 1 extra encounter card. You just know it's going to be a side scheme every round. So it's really upping. It's almost like having a separate side scheme in play that has that, a deal additional encounter card, except for, again, it's a side scheme. It's interesting that all the side schemes, no matter what modular set, are going to go into that deck. So like you could have...
Hello? Discord is resetting on me. Hang with me, everybody. Discord is resetting on me. All right, sorry for that technical little blip there. Discord crashed on me, and that's what we used to record through the software. So we are back now. So Tommy's gonna pick up where he was.
He was censoring me.
That's right. So we were talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy campaign. I mean, never mind. So the side scheme deck, nice because, like Scott said, it dilutes the villain deck, so it makes it a little more difficult where you're getting more actively pressing cards revealed from it. But it also gives you an additional encounter card every turn. Mm-hmm. And then Scott highlighted during our technical difficulties that one downside from a difficulty standpoint is that, 3 of them give you a benefit when you defeat them, which is, I mean, I get it. You know, you're kind of revealing extra cards, so it's nice to have a benefit once in a while, but we're mad here.
Let's read the one. Prison Camps, who the artist that did Prison Camps is also the same artist that did Winter Soldier. So, just throwing that out there. At least Prison Camps is supposed to be sad. The player who defeated this scheme searches their deck and discard pile for an ally, puts it into play, and shuffles their deck. That is literally one of the abilities that's on that once-per-use tech upgrade that you have. It's the same.
Yeah, that's a really... that's the one you're like... hit the lottery when that.
Let's go White Tiger.
That comes out,
let's go Elektra. Let's.
Yep.
No,
let's go Captain Marvel. Let's go.
You have to pay for it. Yeah, I think I made Tommy let me put Captain Marvel because he was like being greedy with all the cards.
No, I was like, let me get Nick Fury. I want to draw 3.
No, I was like, give me Captain Marvel. But you could. Like put it this way: if you're playing like a leadership deck and you're playing with Goliath, like, all right, just go get Goliath and have a monster turn for free.
So I will say, though, that Skull has the most health by a lot compared to the other villains. I think 17 is the highest outside of him, and his stage 3 has 20. So
he's beefy.
Yeah, he's beefier than anybody else in the box. He's not beefy by like Ultron standards, but he's on par with Mutagen Formula Green Goblin, right?
So.
Yeah, I think so.
And he can gain Retaliate 1 because of Red Skull's right hook, which Tommy and I discussed. That means he's left-handed.
He's a southpaw. Yeah, we spent too much time.
It's going to be 3 minutes
thinking about that.
How are you right? He's left-handed.
Yeah. So we should also mention the sleeper, right?
Yeah, we got the sleeper. That thing is
awesome.
It's like Baby Ronin.
Yeah.
I those keywords are brutal. The guard, retaliate, and toughness make it so that thing is definitely a force. Yeah, and it's interesting. He's going to automatically engage the first player as opposed to. I guess it has to say that because he's not getting revealed from the encounter deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough in the sense it's tough in the sense that you basically have to devote a turn-ish, at least one player's turn to beat it.
Yep.
And that's like a pretty good turn going through 10 and tough.
Yeah, or if it's 3 players, it's 15. So you're definitely going to need help if you're doing 15, unless you were basically ready to strike the boss.
Yeah, but then it just took a turn of your big turn against the boss.
Yeah, it's definitely a good. It feels nice when for like the pacing of the game. It feels like the right kind of hurdle to throw in front of them.
Yeah. The downside is they can't come back out, so if you get stalled out in the game, you don't have to worry about it again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's got
brutal cards.
He's got these Hydra extra soldiers that have toughness and 5 health. Those are pretty annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and the boost ability is no joke.
Yeah, it's literally like, tough and replace itself, which is like tough and more acceleration tokens. It was hilarious. In our Strange and Spider-Woman game for the League, Tommy decided to discard his treachery cancel rather than hold on to it. He wanted to just have max efficiency for a turn. I think he played an Honorary Avenger on himself or something silly like that. And what was the first treachery card that came out, Tommy?
Yeah, it was Shadows of the Past.
Yeah, so we got Baron Mordo, round 1. Tommy could have canceled it, but didn't. But then there's a twist to that story, Tommy, isn't there?
There is. I lived the dream. So the top card of my invocation deck was why can't I think it's not Winds of Watoomb. Vapors of Valtor. Yep, Vapors of Valtor goes under the scheme. So I'm like, hey Scott, let's. I know it gives them +1 attack and an acceleration token, but any chance we can leave this there? Like, let's just leave it at the bottom of the list of priorities for a little bit. So we played the rest of the game with me having a 4-card invocation deck.
Yeah.
And I was just cycling through it because I'm readying myself with Earth's Mightiest Heroes, my cloak, paying for it, cycling with Wong through. I played whatever invocation I wanted every single turn. It was amazing.
It actually made him significantly more powerful. It was hilarious. It was really, like, obviously I had to kill more. I think I skilled strike Mordo on the next turn. It was done in a second. And then, like, I guess none of we really didn't get hit by any of the other effects in there. We just left it out the entire time. It was the weirdest Shadows of the Past that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and we didn't pay. Like, the thought casting hit me for like 2. I never got counterspelled. Like, it was just amazing.
Yeah, because normally, like, Baron Mordo can be super rough because, 1, you have to kill him right away because you can't let him hit you. And then 2, if he takes a good invocation, then all of a sudden we're actually, like, a little up Schitt's Creek because we're going to let Red Skull stack up another one of his effects as opposed to because we're going to have to get through that. It was pretty
Tommy
fun.
lived the dream.
Yeah,
I did.
We also lived the dream of having allies out on the board or tough when Master Strategist was involved. That one can get a little nutty. So basically, Master Strategist is when Red Skull activates, give him an additional boost card for each side scheme in play. We had 3 side schemes in play when he got to use that. Luckily, we just had an ally in its way. Again, another reason why Overkill needs to exist.
Yeah.
But
we did just let Maria Hill take a 17 attack from Red Skull.
We 100% juked him out of his shoes, though, because we're ready. Like, I think we had a bunch of tough, and we had a bunch of, like, tough allies. It was one of those, like, rounds where, like, because Tommy was cycling through his invocation deck so much, we had all gotten tough and then not even used the tough, and then we had to give tough to 3 allies. Well, he's ready to activate with the Master Strategist, and Tommy's just about to, like, let it hit him in the face, because why not? He has tough. And I was like, wait a second, like, we hadn't looked at the encounter deck, so we did not know what was in his encounter deck at all, because we wanted to go into this blind. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a second. What happens if there's something in the encounter deck that gives piercing? Because there's been piercing in every single one of these scenarios so far. It seems to be, like, the keyword that they're pushing a lot. And I was like, maybe you want to take that on one of these tough allies instead. And he was like, yeah, you know what? That's what I'll take it on an ally. Or not even a tough ally, just a random ally. And, of course, like, the card that comes out was Red Skull's Bluegrass, the boost card, which gives him piercing. So the attack was for, like, 9 piercing. I think it would have killed you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Dr. Strange. I did have the +4 hit points. It actually probably wouldn't have killed me.
It might have come close, though. It would have been a problem. Yeah, so it was, we successfully juked him, realizing that piercing had been all over the place.
Nice.
Yeah, Pearson Insight seemed like the
key. I mean, Insight's a pretty good one just because, again, it makes like those minions that have Insight. Yeah, you might kill them the next turn, but they did something when they came out,
right?
And that can be impactful. But yeah, having a boost card that gives you +1 attack and piercing and range. Range is relevant, but not super relevant. When it's combined with that Master Strategist, that can be a problem. Because 3 extra boost cards, considering that his Red Skull's right hook has 3 boost icons. A lot of his set has 2 or pretty nasty boost effects. It can be bad.
Yeah, there's some brutal cards in here, like Spreading Lies. Like, when revealed, 2 to every scheme.
It's Baby Master Plan.
Yeah, but it hits the main scheme too. Like, Master Plan only hits side scheme, so.
There's some really great cards. Some really, and by great, I mean really tough. I guess I should be on Critical Encounters, because everything, I'm like, oh, this is great. People are like, what is wrong with you?
Like, Infinite Power, like, that card is, like, a great treachery too.
I love the fact that we've got so many cards, specifically in Skull and Zola, that are going to add threat to the scheme, the main scheme specifically, during the villain phase, because like that's the thing that's really hard to account for. That's why Advance is like the most dangerous card in the encounter deck a lot. And we've effectively got Insight cards, which is a static amount, but it's still going to do it unaccounted for. Yep. You got Spreading Lies now, which is like super Insight, and he's adding Infinite Power to the deck, which if you're an alter ego is going to cost him to scheme. Or Attack. I mean, Attack is still a good effect as far as the villain is concerned.
But I think that, like you're saying, things that make it more dangerous, leaving the scheme kind of even close to being completed, are really, really important, because they force you to expend resources to keep yourself safe, and that means that he's got more turns to punch you in the face.
Or you go into a villain phase holding your breath, which adds tension to the game, which adds excitement, which makes it feel, tangible, because it's not like you're just smashing him in the face.
Two health short. But he might. There's like 2 cards left that could do it, and there's like 7 cards left in the deck.
If we just get through this, we'll be okay.
Just get through. Yeah, there's like that's what you want. You want to, because a lot of times, like, that if you get through the villain phase, you're going to kill him. You've left him on like 10 health. There's 3 players. You're going to kill him. Although, now that I think about it, that last game that we played with John, we needed 3 damage from between you and I, and we could barely get there.
Yeah, it was bad.
John did 18. We dealt 3. Yeah, I think Red Skull, if you were not playing with the extra upgrades, even though we didn't use my my laser cannon, but the fact I did use my plus attack stat every round, and I think I drew a card every round against minions and things like that. You drew 5 cards first turn. That mattered.
Yeah, that mattered. And the plus 4 health mattered a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's plus 4 health means that you are like She-Hulk level of health.
14, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Thor is 14 health.
Yeah, so you're beefcake at that point. Doctor Strange has been hitting the juice. He's got his protein shake.
Then he got the 4-card invocation deck, and he ascended to like God mode.
Runs. He's ready to go.
I mean, I wasn't really that close to dying in like my other games, but like against Red Skull, like Captain America had 1 health left.
Yeah, it's pretty. One
so
health.
Epic.
I mean, he had 2 Red Skull's hooks, right? So, and I couldn't like spend the resources to get rid of them. Like I just couldn't do it.
We got rid of it real quick. I'm not dealing with it, especially like because Spider-Woman. I guess all of my stuff was very small attacks.
Right.
So I wanted to put as many cards as possible. We were like, no, we cannot have Retaliate on the table. Tommy, you have 20 cards in your hand. Find 3 resources. But Retaliate on a boss is pretty brutal. He gets it from that, and then Zola just has it natively. And the Red Skull right hook, you don't want to see it as a boost card because it's got 3 icons. It is a terrifying card in both respects.
Yeah, and like Bitter Rival. Okay.
Yeah, fun. It's like, oh, great. On either end. Yeah, I think we had a turn where it was like, cool, I guess I'm exhausting my entire board.
It shuts you down. It's a good. He's a well-designed villain. I mean, him and Zola, I think, are both home runs. Crossbones is really good. Taskmaster is a cool design, but he's just not super difficult. And then
he's always going to have the built-in like easy mode because that comes with his set. That's just his set. That's not the campaign even.
Right. But Absorbing Man's the really only like kind of disappointing thing.
He's so boring.
Yeah.
It's like he can make Red Skull more difficult, but he just doesn't do enough on his own, which is like it's okay. I don't mind if like one out of the sets are not necessarily like advantageous to play in non-scenario mode.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I think
I want to find a mod that'll help him.
Maybe heroic, maybe just because you might get some like weird occasions where you get hit by a bunch of effects and things like that.
But I'm just happy we got 5 scenarios, after having have none for 6 months.
Their release schedule is confounding. It's like, all right, cool, we just got 5 villain scenarios. What's your next release? Villain scenario. And then it's going to be Hero for, what, 4 months?
4 months, and then, the Galaxy's Most Wanted box with the 2 heroes, and I think it's 5 scenarios in that one too, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
I'm just saying, FFG, hear me out. Maybe go 2 heroes, then a scenario. And then 2 heroes, and then a box. And then 2 heroes in a scenario. And then 2 heroes in the box, if that's how the general gist is going to be. Because, you just don't... Because, again, I think FFG at this point should be accounting for the fact that at some point, something is going to waylay their delivery of stuff. Whether it is going to be FFG things, pandemic things, who knows? There's going to be some point where there's a month or 2 month delay. And if that happens, and you're on the long end of we haven't gotten a new scenario in 7 months, probably be better if you had interspersed your scenarios in between.
I'm less worried about it now that we've gotten
100%. It's way better now.
Double what we had as far as encounters go.
The downside is, and it is something I'm extremely excited for Kang, but I am worried because it is a somewhat complicated scenario that it may end up kind of in a Wrecking Crew style, where it's really cool concept, but I'm just worried. Yeah, I'm just worried because it's interesting and intricate, so that means it could be undertuned.
Yeah, that's a fair concern, I think. What do you guys think about the scenario, the flow of the campaign itself, start to finish? Good, bad?
Great.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I got nothing but good things to say about the flow. I think that the way the encounters went, I feel like Crossbones is a wake up call, and then the next 2 are kind of work you back into it a little bit, but then you end with just 2 really great, creative, difficult. They feel the most refined of all the encounters, the last 2, and I think it's just you end on such a high note.
I think if they had, because it could just be the fact that maybe Taskmaster and Absorbing Man just are not hard enough to force you to take enough damage that you're trying to heal and thus get obligations. Because I think if you get obligations in your deck, you're going to have a bad time. I just think maybe they don't put enough pressure on you to force you into that situation. So I think there's not that much in the campaign that helps ramp up the difficulty to counterbalance the fact that you're ramping up your power level with your upgrades.
That's fair.
You
I think
mean?
I think if I'm making a list of the best campaign boxes we've had for Marvel Champions, this one's definitely at the top.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah,
you could definitely make that argument.
Yeah, I'm not gonna quibble too much on that point. It's not offensive.
Real quick, do you guys want to touch on Hawkeye and Spider-Woman, the new heroes we got in the box? You guys like them, dislike them? I think they're both great, but
I got no complaints about either of them. I think I got to complain about Quiver rulings, but that's just in a FFG doing FFG things. But I think Hawkeye's fantastic. He's just very versatile in some regards as far as being able to deal with different threats. Can't forward all that well, and is pretty flimsy on the defense thing unless you're just looping Mockingbird. But he does have the option to loop Mockingbird. But when he gets going, you're oh, what do we? I gotta. You need me to kill everything on the table? Got that. You need me to deal 18 damage to the boss? I got that too. Pretty fun to play.
I think he's a top 2, top 3 aggression hero.
Yeah, he makes Hulk and Thor look like a little bit of sissies. It's oh, you guys got 3 attack? Oh, yeah, I'll just grab my bow.
Yeah, he's really good. I really like Spider-Woman too. I think they're both really strong innovative heroes. I think they're both fun, different, unique heroes that are people are going to gravitate toward for play style or for theme. I just think they're both really good all around.
And I think including Spider-Woman in this scenario was just great. Like, given if you've read any comics involving like if you've read any like Avengers comics, like when Spider-Woman does get incorporated and things like that, this is like the perfect place to put her in.
Yep. And Hawkeye, they just needed Hawkeye to round it out.
Yeah, at some point,
as far as Avengers.
I'm like, so there's like a lot of talk with when we were getting the cards with Spider-Woman about like exactly how powerful she was going to be. I don't know if I can put her into that tier with Captain America and Doctor Strange just yet, but I do think she has the. They're going to break her.
Nobody in Doctor Strange's tier.
They're going to break her at some point because they're going to accidentally release something that, if by combining two aspects, is broken.
Yep, bound to happen at some point.
Because we've seen that there's enough things that are getting, that are getting through the filters from just like either the way rules work or things like that. There's going to be something like that sneaks through that's like, oh, yeah, we didn't really stress test this with Spider-Woman. Especially like when we get more heroes, then it's just like something's going to sneak through.
Yep.
But for right now, I don't think that's a problem. For right now, I think she is very strong, but not any stronger than, say, Captain Marvel, Iron Man type character.
Yeah, I think she's. Yeah, I don't think she's Doctor Strange, but I think she's right there after Doctor Strange and Captain America, I think.
I guess in the sense that Strange he doesn't really have anything that hits multiple targets, but he can draw just a ton of cards, which creates him opportunities to hit multiple targets, and she can't really draw cards. Like, she doesn't do that. So that's kind of like she could have a little bit of a weakness in the being swarmed by stuff.
Right, but I mean, she does have the ability to ready,
She does.
3 times, so that kind of helps that out.
Yeah, if you hit 3 things with 3 or 4 attack, that's pretty good.
It does help.
Yeah, I mean,
when I was one card that hits everything.
When I was doing the late night stream, I think Mick Bobber was playing Spider-Woman. And he did like 20 damage with Spider-Woman.
Oh yeah, there was definitely turns where I was like throwing. I would say I was having like very consistently high damage, like moderate high damage turns. Nothing like spiking too crazy, but just like every turn like 12. And whether that was split between some minions or all straight into the boss, but like putting that out and then having the ability, because she's very versatile, because she can thwart as strong as she attacks for the most part.
Yep.
And her justice card is quite good. Very good in a lot of these scenarios with like multiple schemes. Just makes everything nice and neat, and you can not waste efficiency.
Well, that plus anytime you're playing with the campaign modifications, they
help
specifically for Spider-Woman are like crazy, because you're going to double and triple dip on those on some terms, and it's just your +1 that you've had the whole game now becomes a +3 on whatever given turn. And then if you've got a combat training or whatever the justice one is, like heroic intuition, if you have one of those, then you're really just making tremendous value back.
Yeah. It can get hard to count sometimes. You're like, all right, +1 from the thing. I got the combat training on me. I played a card. I played another card. We had to use the colored boats from Game of Thrones, the board game.
Or like the tracker.
And then have John question why we have boats from Game of Thrones, the board game. Because if he sees Game of Thrones, the board game, he gets like triggered.
He does get triggered. He loves that game.
Well, I think that'll do it for our Red Skull box stuff. Any final thoughts? Go buy it if you haven't.
Yeah, buy. Please buy. This is like a must purchase.
Yeah, if you're like doing the thing where you're not purchasing everything, Based on this, I'd say like you should buy the campaign boxes more than you should buy the hero packs. I think you could have a fantastic experience with this game if this is how the campaign boxes are. If you were to only buy the campaign boxes and the core set and you just skip all the hero packs, I think you'd still have a very good experience, although not complete. If you didn't care what heroes you were playing, I think that would be the budget-friendly way to go about it.
I think you'd miss the aspect cards more than the different heroes.
Unless you want to play a different hero.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a hero pack is $15, right? So $30 for 2 heroes, and we paid $40 for 2 heroes and 5 villains. And the villain packs are $20. So
it's insane value.
Yep, and they do that on purpose. It's this, it's the classic like core set or the campaign boxes. They're like that cheap burger on the menu at a bar because they just want you there drinking. That's what these campaign boxes are.
That's a great analogy.
So costly. That's how they do things. They give a happy hour for the burger. It's very salty. You're gonna have to order some beers. This is, that kind of thing. Like, I got this cool Hydra box. Maybe I want Captain America to fight against the Red Skull. I got to buy the Captain America pack. Oh, but this cool card that I want with the Captain America deck, I got to buy this other pack. All of a sudden, I've got Miss Marvel for no reason. I don't know what I'm doing. Or you're me and you buy all of the play mats.
Yeah, really, all the stuff that you don't actually need to play the game, but you have.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a thing.
And then we play on the giant 4x4 side scheme playmat anyway.
Yeah, well, you got a bigger table. Just get a second bigger table, and we'll use all the mats. All the mats.
You guys have all the hero playmats so far?
I have all
Scott
the
does.
I just had the Captain America one.
Yeah, I only bought 2. I bought Strange and Panther.
It's a matter of, like, comparatively speaking to my normal gaming budget, I am not spending even, I'd say, a fourth of what I would normally allocate to that. Part of that is, like, pandemic and not being able to go to, like, a game store and things like that. But, like, I'm not playing any miniatures games right now. I'm not playing any collectible games right now. Like, this is...
excuse me. We're playing Flesh and Blood.
I'm beating you at Flesh and Blood.
I can't beat Bravo with Viscera right now. I can't. I haven't
paid anything for Flesh and Blood because I bought cards and then immediately sold enough cards to recoup that loss. I don't expect that to continue. But yeah, LCGs, especially co-op LCGs, are pretty cheap to maintain. They get a little expensive if you're like jumping into this like 4 years from now. Like how we did with what was it? Game of Thrones, the first edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like, great. We're dropping like $600 to catch up on this. But if you just
to lose to Tiny Grimes.
I think we have to play Tiny Grimes in Game of Thrones. I don't think we played much other than ourselves in Game of Thrones first edition.
That's true.
Was Wong involved when you were playing with yourself?
No one beats my Wong but me.
All right.
Family friendly. I was trying not to curse, and now you two are just, degenerates.
Well, we got 2 listeners anyway, so it's whatever.
It's a good point.
So we have a...
Love that beautiful bold head.
Discord question from Conspiracy. He wants to know what's the best event, upgrade, and support per aspect and overall.
Oh my god!
All right, give me an aspect, and
all right.
I'll start there.
Yeah, so we'll just go
rapid fire it.
Just
give me an aspect.
We'll go through each of us. So we'll start with aggression. We'll do event, upgrade, support. So
event, upgrade, support.
So Tommy, aggression, event, upgrade, support.
Toe to toe. Upgrade is counterattack, even though people don't know it yet. Maybe Yarnborn you could make an argument for. And Hall of Heroes.
All right, Scott, aggression, event, upgrade, support.
Yeah, I'm literally having to look up the cards because I can't think of them off the top of my head. Event is probably gonna we'll go with toe to toe, Yarnborn, and is there only one support? There's only one support, isn't there?
No, there's two. Tag team is the other. It's Hall of Heroes is better.
It's Hall of Heroes. Okay, yeah, it's default by that point.
I'm going to go with upgrade Yarnborn, support Hall of Heroes, and event. I am going to say press the advantage.
Why? I mean, we're already here. Let's just do allies. Best ally.
Why would not?
Brawn.
I'm going Hulk.
See, Hulk, I think you have to build around, and Brawn is just straight out.
Brawn's amazing, but Hulk is worth building around.
That's the 2-cost Spider-Woman.
Yeah, it's She-Hulk. Who are we kidding? It's She-Hulk.
Spider-Girl. Spider-Girl? Is that a thing? Yeah, Spider-Girl.
She-Hulk kills the villain by herself.
Yeah.
She becomes the honorary Avenger.
Spider-Girl is just like, 2-cost and can waylay a minion. Yeah, she's fantastic. Spider-Girl.
Yeah, they just have amazing allies and aggression.
They do.
All right, so then what's the best aggression card overall?
Toe-to-toe.
Yeah, we play a lot with toe-to-toe because we're playing things that like
Stun and tough.
And it's just like, oh yeah, cool. 5 down. Or like, it's very effective for killing minions because usually you're like trading. You're taking a hit for 2, but you're killing. It's, it just works out very nicely.
Alrighty, so then we'll go leadership next. So what's the Tommy best leadership event, upgrade, support, and then ally?
Event is probably inspiring presence, in my opinion. Upgrade, rapid response. Best support would be, I don't know.
Team training.
I'll go team training, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely not Quinjet. Ally, Hawkeye. No, it's Goliath. I'm sorry, Goliath.
Scott, leadership event, upgrade, support.
Rapid response. Can I say Avengers Tower is the leadership support? Even though
yeah,
leadership.
Right.
And then ally. The biggest downside to playing Hawkeye is you can't take Hawkeye the ally, but we've seen that Goliath is stupid, so Goliath. Do you want to one-shot the boss, Goliath?
I will say make the call, rapid response, team training, and Goliath. Just because Goliath is the best value after the rapid response play. That's why I'm saying that.
I mean, what? John used how many times? He attacked them 4 times?
Yeah.
With an inspired on him?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just one of those, like, there are a lot of ways to... I get it. I get what they were trying to do. Like, if his consequential damage is 2, they won't be able to, like, perpetually ready him. But there's too many ways to mess up that math.
But we just printed inspiring presence. Oh,
and team training. And team training gives them an extra activation by itself.
Yep. We're a med team. And it's like, oh, great. Now there's
First
9
aid.
ways to ready him and enough ways to heal him to make the math work.
Yep. And then rapid response and do it all again next turn.
Yeah.
Justice, best event, upgrade, support, ally.
Justice, you said?
Yep.
Event. I really like clear the area. Upgrade is where is it? Is it Skilled Investigator? Is that what it's called? Yeah, Skilled Investigator is like one of my new favorite cards for Justice. Support is probably B-Cop. Yeah, B-Cop. Ally is I'll go Quake.
Because she's cheap.
She's cheap and deals damage, which is covering your, like, one of your weaknesses.
Yeah, I suppose that is your weakness. Justice.
All right, Scott, justice stuff.
So, event, we'll go with What's the thing that like punches them and confuses them? Is that a thing?
Concussive blow.
We'll go with that. Just because Justice needs to deal some damage, and then it's just like awesome. It's basically tackle, but Justice. Upgrade is followed's an upgrade, right?
Yes.
Yeah, followed. Just because again, you're dealing some damage with the side that can't. Beat cop for the support, just because there's not that many good supports. And for ally, Spider-Man can get a little deadly in the multiplayer games, but I'm going to go with Coulson.
I like Coulson.
Just because I like playing Black.
I'm going to go Clear the Area, Skilled Investigator, Beat Cop, and Coulson. And now Protection. So same thing, Tommy. Start us off.
Best event.
Second
there's
win,
multiple that I like. I like Momentum Shift, but I can't say that's the best event. I think I'm gonna go with Tackle because in solo mode it's just insane. For upgrade, I guess I have to go with the all-time number one like value card, Energy Barrier. Support, Night Nurse, and ally is my boy Brother Voodoo. Even though Iron Fist is probably better, I'm going Brother Voodoo. I don't care.
It's a Momentum Shift, just because I like Momentum Shift. It works really well. I like things that heal me while still also dealing damage, because Protection's biggest problem is that most of its cards are passive. Then, what is Upgrade? Energy Barrier, because even though it's keeping you alive, it's also actually doing something. Then Iron Fist for the ally, because again he's doing stuff. And then Night Nurse. Say Night Nurse.
I'm gonna go with Desperate Defense for the event. +2 defense, and it allows you to ready. Event. Upgrade Energy Barrier. I don't think you can say anything else. Support Night Nurse. I think the only other one is Med Team, right?
Yeah.
And Night Nurse only costs 1. So we'll go with Night Nurse, and I'm going to say Clea as the ally because she only costs 2. She does something and then takes an awesome chump block and then goes right back in your deck so you can get her again next turn.
I think, I guess now with where we're at with this campaign box, I think Protection is markedly weaker than the other aspects. And I think because as I'm looking at all of their cards, let's see. There's like half of them don't do anything unless you're actively defending with your hero.
Yep.
And even then, most of them are only trying to keep you from getting any damage on you. They're not actually doing anything to hurt the villain in some way, whether it's like thwarting them or dealing damage. It becomes a little bit of a problem. Like, oh great, I'm not taking much, if any, damage, but I'm also not doing anything.
I don't think that the space between that differential from like protection to leadership or to any of the other aspects is that I would agree it probably is fallen to the 4th spot, but I don't think it's that far behind, as in like She-Hulk to Doctor Strange.
No, I mean, I don't think that, but I think it's like leadership to protection is very, very different.
I agree.
And I say this as someone like, I think I play protection when we play more than not. Or I play protection a lot. Especially like when we play 3 players or more than 3 players, because then, the fact that you can defend multiple times, you can apply that where you need to. But it's just starting to like look at the card pool. There's not a lot of cards that you necessarily want to take, and then you also find yourself being a little one-dimensional sometimes. Like, I can block, and I can block, and I can block.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see, he wants to know what's the best card per aspect. What was the second part of his question?
Inspiring presence for leadership. What about for justice?
You didn't even pick that as your best event.
Yeah,
I think you picked make the call.
I did.
Freaking hypocrite.
Well, no. So I'm going to go with Gordie Howie's Mr. Hockey, but then Wayne Gretzky,
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Well, inspiring presence is the right answer. I think that card. Now, make the call on inspiring presence or split hairs.
Wayne Gretzky.
Okay, I like inspiring presence.
Is that Gordie Howe or is it Wayne Gretzky?
That's the Wayne Gretzky.
That's the Wayne Gretzky. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's the flashy one.
Make the call as Mr. Hockey.
Sure.
Yep. Gordie Howe hat trick.
I say it's make the call, but whatever. Justice. I think it's skilled investigator. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't say that was the. I said follow. Just one sick follow. Peacock. Probably peacock.
Because you're creepy.
Then protection energy barrier.
Yeah, I think you got to go energy barrier over there. You can make an argument for Iron Fist, maybe.
I mean, he is really good. But I feel like maybe protection out of all of them might benefit the most out of playing the power-up cards. Because there's not, you could make a protection deck that is not running any of, the ones or zeros or ones, and it's just running twos.
Yeah, everybody else's cost curve has gotten
weird.
Significantly low.
Yeah. Not weird, but like leadership, you have the big fours, but then you have all the zeros and ones, so it becomes a little goofy. Aggression is the same way, and justice is the same way. So yeah, protection. I think you could leverage the power ups most if you were to go with the allies, the energy barriers, the momentum shifts, and just not into the Indomitables and the like.
That would be an interesting looking deck.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Just skip second one, please.
It's hilarious because when I get all the gear on the table, it takes up the entire side of the table. I got an unflappable, I got an armored vest, I got a electrostatic armor. Got all her preparations. It's literally 15.
Yeah, you have 20 cards out on the table.
Yep, just I'm dressed. I'm ready to go. Let me start blocking everything.
Plus 3 allies, and then you have a 12-card deck.
I honestly, yes. At one in our first game against Crossbones, I had my full kit out with 3 preps, and then I also had 3 allies on the table.
So your deck was 12 cards.
Yeah, my deck was 12 cards, and all of them were Indomitables, some of which were also on the table, Desperate Defenses, and Widow cards, which I wasn't playing, so it's just
we didn't do aggression, did we?
Best card? I think you and I both said toe-to-toe.
Well, I said that for the event. I would say it's that or She-Hulk for best card.
I'll say toe-to-toe.
I'm going to say Braun.
I don't know if people like toe-to-toe, or are we in a bubble?
I think maybe we're in a bubble.
I think people, from what I've seen, it's mixed. It seems like if you like toe-to-toe, you like that and counterattack as a package. You take that package together.
I take anything with stun or tough with toe-to-toe.
Yeah,
or a bunch of cheap allies. I mean,
that's why I like Press the Advantage, right? Because I was playing Captain America Aggression. So I had 3 heroic strikes and 3 drop kicks.
Yeah.
So then I was playing Spider-Woman with Aggression and Protection, so I gave her the Press the Advantages, and then she also had Pheromones. So Oh
yeah, we were running Press the Advantage. Both of us were except in one of the scenarios, I think we kind of
Zola. We took it out for Zola
because we realized we'd be hitting minions
or him with Retaliate, which is not good.
We're I don't want to do that. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic card.
But toe-to-toe is good in that same vein. If you're running the drop kick, heroic strike, pheromone stuff together.
We're running Strange and Spider-Woman. We're let's just play a bunch of toe-to-toes.
Yeah, because it's just 5 damage, right? You're just
we were literally all right, you rings him, toe-to-toe him, I'll pheromones him, and then I'll toe-to-toe him, and then he's dead. because it's such. I mean, 5 for 1 is ridiculous if you're not taking the attack.
Right, and there's enough stuns in there between the.
Yeah, you have times where you're like, I would like to play a pheromones because it would give me my stat bump, but you ringsed him, so let's somehow turn that into some profit.
Yeah.
There's just so much stun in the game right now.
We're allies, like you said.
Yeah.
Again, they still haven't. FFG is. I mean, they're probably going to react. Really, there's going to be like a mass influx of overkill effects because they're finally going to accept that allies are a little nutty. Although based on what we're getting with Ant-Man, they're like, oh, that Iron Man, let's just turn him into another hero.
Right, but I mean, I wonder when this stuff was designed, right? Because the way, and I wonder when Ronin was designed, because like that modular set is very like anti-ally.
That designed after everything because it doesn't need to be made, so it could have been designed. The only thing it needs to do is
there's no production.
It doesn't have to get produced. I don't know if they actually they probably don't necessarily or didn't necessarily send that to play testing. Maybe they bundled it with something else so that the playtesters thought it was coming in a product, but it could have very easily not been play tested because of what it is. So it could have just been designed, internally play tested, approved by Marvel. So that time could be that's 3 months, 2 months compared to 10 months to a year for everything else.
Yeah.
Because production alone is like a 6-month rigmarole between shipping, because shipping's 2 months of it.
Right, and when you don't have to do that and everybody can just print it.
Yep.
Cut out a lot of time.
Yep. Cuts out a middleman, and it's it's a middleman that's in China, and that's a little bit of a distance away.
All right, I think that'll do it. You guys got any last thoughts on Red Skull or best aspect cards?
And best.
No. Thank you, Conspiracy, for always giving us good talking points to.
I got one real quick. I want to throw off on.
Do it. Go.
It's just best basic event.
We know who you're picking.
It's Nick Fury. Nick Fury is
Nick Fury is the best basic card. Yes.
It's Lockjaw.
Nick Fury might be the best card in the game.
It's definitely not Lockjaw.
It's Nick.
It's Lockjaw.
You could make a case for Honorary Avenger.
Listen, man. You can.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes is the best.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah, Earth's Mightiest Heroes is the best event, hands down.
Yep. Best support. What's the best support? There's actually a conversation to be had here.
Helicarrier.
Helicarrier. It's pretty good. I'm gonna go Helicarrier. Yeah, Helicarrier. You like what? I don't know what you said.
I feel like you run Quinn Carrier more than you run Helicarrier.
You only run Quinn Carrier if you have a need for a specific type of resource. Helicarrier is better in almost every situation outside of Doctor Strange because it can be passed.
I mean, I don't run any of them.
I stopped running Mansions, but I will run Helicarrier and Quinn Carrier.
Mansion gets interesting with the new Power of the Common Man. What is it called?
The Power of the Common Man.
That's
blue collar power.
Yeah, blue collar power. What else is it called? What is it actually called? Is it Power of Life or something?
Hold on, let me look.
I only run Mansion in Black Panther decks now, just because of the.
Was that an Ant-Man or Wasp's deck?
I feel like it was in the Wasp.
Oh yeah, because it was in that preview article, right?
I don't remember. I did not watch FFG stream because I don't have any interest in watching.
It's called
Common People.
The Power in All of Us.
All right, I'm really close.
And it's Captain America and some dude looking at a blueprint of a construction plane.
Probably, yeah, some dude. Because Captain America does.
I'm gonna build you a mansion. Yep,
basically. I mean,
Spider-Man
Mansion gets a little interesting if that card exists.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially in a resource-heavy character. It's already resource-heavy.
If you're running Fury, War Machine, Mockingbird,
Miles Morales, man.
Miles Morales looks really good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mansion.
Helicarrier, Quinn
Yep.
Carrier,
Even Avengers Tower.
Avengers Tower. Yeah. You're starting to get there. Oh, you run Lockjaw. You would actually, that would be the first card you would run with that because you could mostly always use him.
I always use it
sound
now
like
with
Banana.
Captain America. Captain America, throw him to the discard to pay for the shield, and then you use Living Legend, and you get a 4-cost ally for the card investment of a 2-cost ally.
Not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're running Power of All of Us, you'd probably put Lockjaw in your deck.
Blue collar power.
Yeah, you might even put Heimdall in your deck. If you could actually reliably play Heimdall, that's actually pretty strong.
If you mean like a Captain America basic leadership deck that runs Heimdall, Lockjaw, Spider-Man.
You only run basic allies and just use all the leadership events.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting
Earth's
for
Mightiest Heroes.
I'm just waiting for a Daredevil deck that only runs Daredevil art cards because I feel like there's so many red events with Daredevil on them. Now that I'm looking at the Wasp cards, did we
We're
get
getting
Sprite
close.
back? Pay for that. What is the other one? There's like 4 of them.
Followed has Daredevil on it.
What do you guys think of between the Ant-Man and the Wasp? Who are you more hyped about?
I think Ant-Man looks a little better. I think Wasp is going to have a lot of situations where she just doesn't. There's not enough upside to what she does. Where she's like ultra efficient. I think that sometimes it's going to feel like, that's nice, but I don't need that here.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, Ant-Man. I like the allies he brings to the table, like Stinger, like is a one cost ally that doesn't count against your limit. So you can get some ridiculous like strength and numbers plays happening once his pack comes out.
Yeah, especially because you could play like Hank Pym for 1 to fuel that too.
Yeah, and then with like Triskelion and Avengers Tower, like you can get 6 allies out and strength and numbers, and
you might actually be able to get 6 allies out because you're going to have enough that cost cheap.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like that's a little bit of a trap. I think Ant-Man's just his kit itself, I think you're going to constantly being like just valuing every turn, just flipping. Like flipping's going to be like, I'm going to draw 2 cards and deal damage. And it's just going to like be this snowball of I've generated so much stuff just from like without spending any cards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Quicksilver, we're going to get our first like super solo hero, maybe, where you just stack him up with upgrades up the wazoo, let him go. Because I don't feel like Spider-Woman is there yet. Like where because like where you play the game of just trying to ready her a bunch. I feel like he might be a little.
I think she's there. I just don't think we've tested her enough yet.
It's not. Yeah, I think Quicksilver is just going to be pretty interesting from the standpoint of you have to take a little bit to get like some of those plus stat upgrades on him, and then just go. It's going to be interesting, like how defensive he may or may not be with his ready ability. He doesn't have much health, but if he's blocking his own attack and readying, that actually makes him a fairly hardy hero.
He's hard. Fairly hard.
And we know our second X Factor character in the game.
Yeah, I mean, geez, they're
And third and fourth.
Yeah. Well played.
Thank you.
pretty good. Yeah, that was I wasn't expecting that. They're going eclectic.
I like it.
Yeah, no, I
That's
like it.
I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing the mutant trait after seeing like this.
No, we're not
going to
see
be
a
X
mutant
Factor,
trait.
X Force, X Men, Brotherhood of Mutants. Like,
Yeah, we're not going to
That's
see a
fine.
mutant
I
trait
don't think
because it's too broad.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like human.
yeah, they didn't put human on a bunch of these cards, but like if you put mutant on everything that could possibly be categorized as a mutant, then you're not going to ever get any cards that actually affect all those things. Because they're just going to be like, yeah, we don't want to use this effect that can hit like every character ever. Because, hopefully there is a point in the game where you've got, like, X-Men characters and X-Factor characters and X-Force characters and all that type of stuff. Like, you can accomplish the same things you would do with a mutant trait by just using the smaller team traits, and you're more actually to utilize them because they're more narrow.
And you can still see things like telepath, or like I think that's an obvious one that kind of is equivalent to like Mystic. Like I think you'll see something along those lines.
Yeah, I'd rather them do narrow tribal traits because then they might actually like do something with them.
You'll get more interesting design that way, because if it's too broad, then they have to really be careful.
Yeah, it's going to be like really minor or broken, and that's always the problem that you have when things are broad.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, you guys got any last words? I think we'll wind this thing down.
Nah, I've been sleep talking for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm tired. I gotta go to bed.
All right. Everybody's got to go to work tomorrow.
Yep. By go to work, I mean walk 4 feet to my desk. But yes, I do have to do that.
Well, Scott, Tommy's lifelong jiu-jitsu Star Wars Flipz pog friend.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us and my internet acquaintance of 2
models,
years.
Man. Pocket models, I still got them.
Oh, we didn't hit Star Wars Flipz yet. We got to hit that at some point.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Tommy's going to make me play him in the Star Trek CCG. That's what he's on.
Have you
That's for my
seen that?
birthday.
Have you seen Star Wars Flipz yet?
No, I haven't.
Do you know what it is? So it's
No, I
the
don't.
Topps Destiny ripoff. So it's a new Star Wars dice game from Topps, and the dice are like kind of oversized, and you basically put pogs on like the die sides, and like so you can have like a different character in each side, and then there's like attack values and energy values and stuff.
I just ordered 3 boxes.
Is it Flipz with a Z?
Yes.
Oh, of course it's Flipz with a Z.
Yeah. So.
They do look like Destiny dice. Oh my god.
Yeah, they do. They're like yellow and black. They're like
Send that to Jack.
they're like slightly bigger,
Yeah.
and it's like a little pog that sits on the inside.
You insert the pogs into the dice. They're modular.
Yeah, and then like during the game, like if they're damaged, like that character on that side, then you like take it out and flips it and put it back in.
Oh, you flips it and reserves it.
I tried watching a how to play video and I fell asleep 5 minutes into it. So. True story. But yeah, Tommy's lifelong friend and my internet acquaintance, friend of the show, Scott. Thanks for joining us.
Wow, if that isn't some high praise.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, it's accurate. I mean, the first time I met Scott, I thought his name was Shane. So
That's true.
Because I was undercover. Oh, Shane. Shane's best showing in a Destiny tournament.
It's true.
Yeah.
His only showing.
But it's always a pleasure talking to Scott.
He means listening to me talk, because I don't shut up.
Hey, it's fine. I don't talk enough, and you talk a lot, so it fills our empty airwaves here at the side scheme. So
There it is.
Tommy, thanks as always.
Thank
Hope
you.
the kids are good.
Kids are good. Everybody's good.
Staying away from that Rona. All right, that'll do it for us here at the side scheme. Enjoy the Red Skull box, and stay scheming, champions.
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
Yo, is this Flipz thing only available in England? Because I'm seeing pounds on my internets.
You gotta go to regular Walmart, not Walmart.uk.
Nah, I googled Star Wars Flipz and they just came up with like UK for some reason. Does my computer think I'm in the United Kingdom?